Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Apex Online Racing Grand Prix here in the F2 series. We're in Hungary. I'm Ben Rwaggy Amkasa, and joining me on the caster's desk is the legendary Jamie Amkasa Elder. How you doing? Jamie Amkasa Elder, how are you doing?
I'm not too shabby, man. How are you?
I am not too shabby indeed. I definitely didn't make a flub. It's all on you. But we are here in Hungary. It's a great track. We saw in the actual official F1 this year. It was incredible to see how obviously Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen were having a really good battle pretty much the entirety of the race until the final few laps, and it came all the way down to the wire. It was a time management of tyre sort of situation because this track is very difficult to overtake. Really, the only areas you can actually try it is the home straight and then the run from turn 1 to turn 2.
Yeah, and even that second part, you say, is so hard. You've got to almost be alongside the person coming off turn 1 if you want to have a chance into 2. You take the inside into 2, then you're stuck on the outside for 3, and that's where you're going to lose it. So you kind of want to try and go around the outside of the second corner to give yourself a shot. But it's going to be so difficult. There are places to do it. You can overtake anyone on track if the person in front makes a big mistake, and that's what it's going to come down to. In defending, is just don't make mistakes, and you're going to hold that position.
Apologies for the slight delay. Getland does seem to have some internet issues, so currently he's the only person who's having a problem. Well, I imagine that we'll probably continue without him, at least for the qualifying, and then coming into the race we'll have AOR go again. But we'll see what happens. So, yeah, Hungary. I really like this track, especially the fact when it comes to the wet, which is something we see quite regularly here in Hungary. You know, it's never been a track to shy away from that sort of situation, but I just want to see, like, what are they actually going to do about this? How are they going to handle this going forwards? Do you know what I mean? It's not simple. It's not easy. But I think we could do it.
Here we go. Yeah, get lanes is finally left the session, so we are underway. But yeah, going back to the wet thing, it was first 20 years, I believe, or something daft here that we didn't have rain, and then it started.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of wet races since then. Last year, I think this year was dry. So, but yeah, it's an interesting track. It's been around quite literally as long as I have. It came out. The first race was around the time I was born, which is always fun.
All them many moons ago. So it is quite sunny as it stands. There's no rain on track right now. We do not have Get Earned with us as it stands. May come back later depending on how it forms out. Now I do believe I have a sound bug because I can't hear anything right now. It's fixed. It's all right. I fixed it. I'm amazing. I have to double tap escape in order to fix it. But looking at the tyre situations, in Hungary, the softs do work, and they're not the worst tyre to go on, but they do demand. This track demands a lot, so they will die pretty quickly. We're talking after you've done the hot laps, and then you actually start the race on them. You're looking to do around about 7 or 8 laps, probably at a push. I think around about lap 5, lap 6 is where they're going to turn off suddenly. But mediums to hards, definitely the tyre strategy to go to if you can. Whoa, okay, I'm not sure what happened to the Mercedes there, but it looked like he had enough of being a Mercedes and decided to be a Ferrari. Which, if you've just seen the official F1, then you would... I'm not in no spoilers, but you can understand why that might be. So Dax is on an outlap right now. Bulksan in the same situation. Zone's also out there as well. But most important question of the session is, what's your top 3 going to be, Amkasa, for the end of qualifying?
Well, let's have a look and see on what we've got on the grid today. To start with, shall we? Winner last week, Zones. He is here down in 12th at the moment. Obviously, not really done anything as we haven't really started. He's kind of leading the championship as well after... Oh, Boomstock could get a bit tail heavy. He's kind of leading the championship after the sort of... After the break as such, but after we have moved a lot of drivers around. He's not actual top of the championship. That privilege currently goes to Baltzan. But since we've come back, we've done 2 races, Britain and Germany. Zones has been 2nd and 1st, so he's kind of the man to keep an eye on, I reckon.
Okay.
We saw him last season. He had great one-lap pace. He didn't have the race pace. He seems to have equaled out a bit more. He's definitely improved the race pace. Qualifying is still good, but not as good as other drivers. But I think he's worth keeping an eye on. But as for the actual pole position, I think Anyturn might have this covered. We always look to him, and he does sometimes let us down. I think it's going to be really close there. I reckon the top 4 or 5 are going to be separated by less than a tenth. It's going to be that type of qualifying. But I'm going Anyturn, zones, hitting them.
Okay. So we have the same 3, actually, in the top 3.
Oh, okay.
But not in the same order. I actually think Zones will put it on pole today. And Nick Ten's fast, don't get me wrong, but we saw him the other day and he was really struggling to actually get a lap down together. Doesn't mean he's not got the practice in. He's obviously got the experience of that, knows exactly what he needed to do in order to fix it. But I don't think he's going to have learnt enough in time for this race. And so I think he's actually going to be probably just sitting in a pretty second, which is still good. Don't get me wrong. P3.
Okay. Can I interrupt you quickly? I have been given a weather forecast.
Go for it.
Weather forecast for today's race: light rain at the start, but dry towards the end.
So you can almost count.
No,
I'm sticking with it. Because I think we can almost count everybody going on softs. Everyone who knows the weather report will be going on softs to do the quali run.
Okay. Well, we'll see if you're right about that.
Would you not agree?
Yes. I mean, obviously, it depends on the type of rain.
Oh.
I know that sounds odd, but if it's not heavy enough to force you onto wet tyres, they don't know this at this point. So it could be lightish rain, but not heavy enough to cause tyres to change. I'm trying to get my times updated, but everyone keeps pushing a lap and messing up what I'm looking at.
Yeah. And whilst you're talking about those, actually, Kimmy's has just put himself on pole with a 1:16.622. So he was zoned right there. Yotto is actually really not that far behind, actually. 1:16.771. Then he got a bit of a jump between him and the next driver, which is Smeege in P4. 1:17.164. Then Dax, then Boom, and then Hitton. And they're the only ones so far I've actually done times on. We actually need to do an onboard. So once you've sorted your times out, you let me know. And then we'll get cracking. At the minute, though, Rupert's out there going for it. Not quite a clean area. He did have a bit of traffic that's going to affect him maybe a smidge. We'll see how much that's actually affected him, as he's only got a few corners left to go.
I'm going to take you on that. Honestly, can't see it at the moment. I'm still trying to get my names done. I'm nearly done. Nearly there. Only a few left to go.
Well, whilst you're doing that, Ulyss. Do you remember last week? Ulyss had a really rough week, didn't he? Let's be honest. He had a huge amount of penalties. Which really affected him. He took him completely out of the points. And oh, Rupert, that's not what you want. He's done a complete run. He's facing the wrong direction on the home straight. He's actually driving in the wrong direction as well. Might get disqualified. Oh, there's a Toro Rosso having to get out of the way. Well, nicely done by Rupert to make sure he doesn't affect anyone, or at least affect as little as possible. He did a 1:22.920, so it wasn't that great. But still, he's alive. It means he can improve. And we've still got 12 minutes remaining of the session.
Yeah, plenty of time to people to do things unless your name's Rupert, where you've just left the session.
Well, he was the one who just rotated on the home straight.
Yeah, so that doesn't bode well for him, that he's had that issue and has already left the session. I don't know if that was just down... Could have been all down to the same thing. He could have just had a minor lag, caused him to lose control, and then couldn't get back in control. Lag and went off. But, yeah, this is a wonderful track. We'll see a full-on in a moment. I've literally got 5 names left to do if I can learn how to spell brownie correctly. I'll put a U at the end. So
well, you do that. I'm going to keep an eye on Krizix, because he's actually coming round... Is it Krizix? Krizix? I think it's Krizix. He's coming around the second to last corner now. Actually got the final one. He's looking pretty hot, to be honest, on these medium tyres as well. Can he put himself up there with the front runners? It's going to be a tense one. Might be a close one. Goes P5, a 1:16.893. Looking at the best tyres, the tyres that they did when they actually did their hot laps, the top 5 are all done on medium. Skatey joins the top 6 in with the softs. That's a 1:17.0838. Then you got Wow in 7th, Smeege in 8th, Bulkdown's actually done a time on the hard tyre, and he's really got some pace in him to be alongside Smeege. Only 2/10 or 3/10 if you like, just behind him. Really good work from him. FK Gaming P12, other person on hards, and then you got Hittanen, who I think we should keep a very fair mind in. Like we said, Hittanen, both of us predicted in the top 3. I think we both predicted in P3 as well. But we've just got very different 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you'll be happy to know I've now updated all my things, so I know what's kind of happening. Which is very useful. As
well, we do need to do a
soft stop.
Yes, they are. We do need to do a rundown. The reason I quickly get that in there is because Zones is actually a couple of corners away from doing that. Would you like to do the honours?
I might as well, although my track map... Oh, there we go. It was showing 2 tracks, and I don't think that's quite how it works. It is a pretty much a 4.4 kilometre track here. In the official F1 is 70 laps, so it'll be 35 during our race, but Zone's coming around that final corner and getting that power down. Not rotating the car as someone else has already done today. DRS is wide open as we go sort of downhill, a little bit up towards turn 1. Hard braking at about 80 to 75. That's not brave you're feeling. Through turn 1, DRS comes open on the exit almost immediately. Keep it back over right, braking very low for this, as late as you dare. That was about 40 minutes before the corner. Throwing it in and don't brake. Keep going. Keep that thread pedal down. Go through 3 up towards turn 4. A little left off here and shift down there for Zones. And then come into turn 5. This is a hard corner because you want to get on that. You got on it. I was going to say you don't want to get on there because that can rotate the car. You got on it just enough to be acceptable. As you go through 6 and 7, that probably was an invalidation there on the turn 7 through 8 and then through 9. There's these sweeping corners of sector 2. Just make it so hard to even overtake, if not hold on to the back of the car in front as we go through turn 11, and you can see it's definitely backed off. This is the next opportunity to overtake. Sort of, if the guy in front just wobbles coming off the corner, you can send it down the inside. I suspect we will see someone try that today as we come up now to turn 13, the long left-hander, and then there'll be a long right-hander onto the home straight, but he'll go... Oh, he's going to do it.
Going again?
Interesting.
Yeah, he's going again.
Well, if you're going to start wet tyres, it doesn't matter if you take an extra bit of life out. But
yeah,
you might as well. You've got plenty of time still. You've got 8 minutes, 20 seconds, so keep going.
It says light rain, so I would hate to be in the scenario where it's rain, wet, it's damp enough to be annoying and greasy and slippery, but not wet enough for you to need to go on intermediate tyres. I have seen it, we've experienced it, we talked about it almost every race we get into, because it honestly is just so crucial. It makes a massive difference, and if they do qualify on these tyres, if he does end up sticking to these tyres all the way through, and boom, literally living up to his name, that is a massive time increase. Yeah, he's done it on the softs, I get that, 8/10 is the difference between the two, but still, boom, he's actually really quite a quick qualifier. It's just the races where things start to get a little bit out of shape for him.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on Kimmy's. He's in the first sector. Yeltek has also just started a lap. Kimmy's has just done first sector time. He's on par with Zones, which is interesting. Zones has already taken a lap out of those tyres. Kimmy's was 3,000th of a second faster and wasn't even purple. Neither of those are purple. Yeltek might be going purple. He's coming towards the end of the first sector, coming up about now. Let's see what time he does. And it's identical to Kimmy's. Identical.
Wow.
So when I said the top 5 separated by less than a tenth, I could be onto something here.
I think you might be. I mean, especially with the fact that Zones actually just put himself on that 10th margin between him and Boom. Where is Kimmy's? Going around the second to last. There's a Haas up ahead, which I believe is Skatey. No, that's Smeege actually. Yep.
Dax is going quick as well. Keep an eye on him. He's just gone purple in the first set. Yeltek's gone purple in the second. Kimmy's comes across the line, stays third. Copy done. Yeltek coming up to the final corner. Purple in the second. Can he go purple in the third?
He's 8/10 up currently. If he gets a good exit here and get into 10th, he's probably on pole, I think. And that's it. There you go. 1:15.786. So Yelta. It's interesting because I actually spoke to him earlier. I was doing a bit of racing with him on a different racing game. And I was asking him, I was like, how do you feel going into this race tonight? And he said, I don't feel good at all. I said,
wow. Wells went purple in the second, sorry.
Oh.
And there you go.
Woo! Living up to his name.
Top 3 separated by less than a tenth. I didn't actually expect this to happen, but I'm quite glad that everyone's so close. I might get that part right. But yeah, sorry, as you were.
Yeah, I was basically saying that Yolte was saying that in comparison to Hittinen, he was not able to meet their times. He was struggling to sort of be on par with them. So clearly something's clicked in the time. I had that conversation to now, but clearly something's clicked for Bulksan, who sets the time even faster than anyone else. A 1:15.601. Smeej runs wide on the final corner, does manage to get the time in. Is a full 1.1 second improvement for him, but it still puts him at a 1:15.981. And Ed Nickturn. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm going to eat my words, aren't I? I said Ed Nickturn was struggling, and he's just silenced me, hasn't
he? Yeah, I think he's done a quite good job with that, hasn't he? We've got 5 minutes left, so someone else could silence you again before that point. But I'm keeping my eyes on Brownie, although he's coming to the pits and I'm not watching him anymore.
I feel like we've overlooked maybe Bulksan and WoW to an extent. I mean, obviously, we're still waiting for Zones to do his fastest run. We're also waiting for Hittinen to actually, well, do a run that isn't on the hard compound tyre. So, you know, wait till he gets on the softs, wait till he gets the opportunity to probably go out there and smash it. But Hittinen's kind of like our little back pocket wild card, if you like. We're currently sat there waiting for it to just happen. But, you know, we are now
on hard.
Sorry? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He
did
on hard, so
if he actually went out on the soft tyre, given the fact that he did a 1:17.470 on hards, and if you look at those just ahead of him, you got FK Gaming, who was slightly faster than him, and you got Rupert, who's done a 1:17.2. Hittinen's looking pretty good.
I would say keep your eyes on Dax. His time's on a medium at the moment, but he did the purple in sector 1. So, oh, edit turn. That's not the pit lane entry, mate. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Sort of missed it a bit and had to reverse. Fortunately, not disqualified.
Do you know what time it is?
It's Chico time.
It's the calm before the storm, because look, everyone's in the pits, almost everyone anyway. We've got 3 drivers, two just come out, one who's actually already on a hot lap. But yes, the calm before the storm. All the cars are in the pits, prepping themselves for this final push, choosing the tyres and the strategy they want to go on to. Ultimately, it's not really going to matter, because it's light rain at the very beginning. Does mean that they are now more just psyching themselves up to give it the absolute full beans, trying to think about, where did I make a mistake earlier? What could I be faster at? And then going out there and doing it.
Yeah, you know what I would love? If this wasn't actual light rain. That would mess everything up. And that would just be so much fun to watch. It'll be rain, but not inter-level rain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And everyone will come and go, oh dear, what have I done? I've taken this risk, it's backfired. The people outside the top 10 are going, yes, I've got a chance here. Because everyone in front will be on softs. They'll be doing probably softs to hards, or even softs, mediums. If that's probably the best tactic if you're going to start on softs, isn't it? I don't think you'll be able to 2-stop with softs, mediums. You might be able to softs, hard, but...
No.
Yeah, so P10 or P11 could be a good position to be in at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the softs I feel like are going to be a problem if anyone tries to touch them in the race, because they just fall apart, especially when your car weighs so much with all that fuel on board. So I think mediums are going to be the prime tyre. Ideally, you want to stay away from the hard. So if we do start on inters to mediums are probably going to be the strategy the drivers go for. You can take the hards pretty much the entirety of the race. It's just you'll be slow doing it. But you do have the added benefit of this track being a track that will not allow many drivers to overtake you, apart from on the home straight. Yeah. So if you wanted to, I've actually seen it where a few drivers actually built their car setups around the exit of the final corner and just being as fast as they can through that home straight, just so you don't lose it, because that's pretty much the only way you can lose a position. Yeah, well, it's all going to come down to when the rain stops as well, as Kimmy's is racing but not really on track. I think, yes, it's all going to come down to when that rain stops. If it stops after 2 or 3 laps, you're going to go, well, I can't do it on mediums, I'm going to have to go hards, or do I 2-stop it for 2 mediums? But if it changes after, let's say it finally stops raining at about lap 30 or 35, you're going to go, well, softs are the ideal here. You've got to work out what the best tyre is at the time. I'm sure everyone has their ideas of how far they can push each set of tyre. They've probably got that written down next to them. They go, right, this is the lap ranges. If it stops raining at this point, that's what tyres I'm going to go for. But we'll soon see. As we've got a minute left. The one thing we did see is Hittinen finally get a soft lap time in. It wasn't quite as fast as we were expecting it to be, but it's still a 1:15.460, which is really, really good work. But Nick turns out they're currently on a hot lap, ready to go again. Yellow flag sector 2, that might be just somebody getting out of the way. And it looks like it's in turn 6, I believe it is.
There's a lot of cars on track. In fact, every car is on track at the moment. So there's going to be a lot of congestion. It's only a short track. But Yeltek is coming to the line as he's starting. He's starting. Get Owned has put it P3. Not bad. That's his first lap and got it P3.
And bear in mind, he had issues as we were loading into the game. He had internet problems where we didn't even think he was going to get to do any qualifying, but somehow they managed to get him in, and that's great news. He's there, P3 currently. There's a Ferrari out the way there. I believe that's Boom. He's actually not going to be able to improve then. Yeah, it is Boom. He's right there, off into the grass. So P8 is the best he's going to do. And Nick turns across the line. 1:15.379. Yeah.
He did a 1:22.7, so there's definitely a slow lap. Zones puts it up into P2. Old time P3. I'll keep an eye, but no purple times are coming in just yet.
Who's next to the line?
Next line, Wow's just crossed it. Brownie's just coming up to it. Ulysses is coming around the final corner at the moment. Then Yeltek.
Here comes then.
Across the line.
1:16.1. On the soft tyres, not quite as good as he needs it to be. Yeltek coming up around the final corner now. A little bit wide there, but not the end of the wheel. Has got a pretty solid drive there. Might be able to do well.
Smeej has gone purple in the second sector. He's one of the next to come up. Dax is going to be next, then Skatey, then Smeej. But I think I'm going to keep my eyes on Smeej. If he can nail this final corner, he's got a chance of putting this near the front.
Skatey's backed out.
Oh, he's run wide.
Oh, P7. I think he just tried to carry so much through that final corner. He was looking like he was really just committed, trying to improve. But where's that Nick? Is he currently going faster? He's a 10th up, and it's in slow lap.
Down.
I say slow lap. It's a 1:15.3. I mean, I can't even do a 1:16.3. So fair play to him.
I probably can't do a 1:23. So.
And that's not a 1:20.3. That's a 1:23. And Nixon on pole then is the end of the session. No cars can improve. Boom's currently going into the pits, and that's what we were waiting for as it stands. But you got a 1-2.
I did it. I got it right. I said top 5 separated less than a 10th. Top 5 separated by less than a 10th. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's close, but yeah, absolutely less than a 10th. Well played. You got the 1-2, and you got the top 5 less than a 10th. So well done.
My P3 was hitting him, which wasn't too far out.
Well, we wanted hitting, and and he was only, where was he, P4, 5, I think?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he was close. We really sort of predicted he was going to do well, but here is the rundown at the end of the qualifying session. So, Nick Turn on pole, Zones in P2, Bulks in P3, Hitton in P4. Brownie is in 5th. Actually, probably one of the best qualifying runs I've seen him do in quite a while. To be only 85 thousandths of a second behind pole time is really good going for Brownie. Good start in towards the racing. Gale P6, Smeej P7, Yolta P8, Copy P9, Wow rounding out the top 10, and best the rest is Boom. And if you look all the way down the field, every single driver is within a full second of the whole grid. It's separated by a second. That is enormous.
9/10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't see the screen, but my telemetry tells me it's about less than 9/10 to FK.
So there's the rain that we are very much aware was coming. If you look in the garage, you can see the intermediate tyres there. So we are going to be starting this race on the inters. And I think ultimately the drivers are going to have to be really trying to understand what they're going to be going for. Now, bear in mind, those times that they chucked in there in the qualifying suggests, and clearly suggests, that they've gone for a dry setup on their car. Coming into the race, it's not going to be like that. They're not going to be able to drive anywhere near as comfortably as they did in the qualifying because they're still using dry setups. Park firming means they can't change very much. And ultimately, that's a big deal.
Yeah, all you can change is front wing angle and tyre pressure. And tyre pressure is not a thing you often play with. If you were changing to a full wet, then yes, you might want to change that. But changeable conditions, if we just leave it how you had it in qualifying. Front wing, depends. I mean, you might want to add a little bit to it just to give you more front end grip. But you're not going to be adding loads. You might add one tweak. That's it. If that.
Well, here we are then, on the formation lap to get us underway with the F2 series here in Hungary for the Apex Online Racing League. This is one of the most renowned tracks for being a disaster coming in towards turn 1. we obviously need to be careful coming into it. I'm looking at Nickton, who's done his usual trick of underfueling the car. Zones has not.
Everyone.
Actually, there's
in
the top 5, only 2 of the 5 have actually chosen to do that. But then you go down further down the order. Smeej has done it, Yolta's done it, Copy's done it, Wow's not, Boom's not, Kimmy's not, Kryzik's not.
There were more. Although I know that sounds odd, but there were more who underfueled. They've obviously got that fuel back up. They were probably underfueled by 0.1 and put it in lean, and as such saved up on the outlet. Because Zones was underfueled as well on the line.
Now, the one thing we don't know is we don't know how long the rain is going to take. That we can almost guarantee. We have no idea how long the rain is actually going to stay for. We just know that it's going to transition at some point into dry, and that whether that be overcast, whether that be light cloud, whether that be whatever it may be, we know it's going to dry up at some point. And if they take it, if it comes in pretty early, all these guys that have underfueled are in trouble. They're in trouble when it comes to the home straight. Ultimately, they're going to obviously flick up to Rich regardless of what happens. They're going to have to. They haven't really got much of a choice about it. But really quick, we are coming through the final few corners. Amkasa, top 3 prediction. Go.
Zones take the second win in a row, and it turns second and third. Brownie.
Oh, you nicked my 1, 2, 3. I wanted exactly that.
P3.
No. You got the first choice. I gave you that choice, so I'll let you keep that.
I'm happy to change because that was those 2 in my eyes.
So I actually think Nickton will probably get more penalties than normal, and I think he will fall to P3, and I think Brownie will get P2 as a result of it. But I do think Zones will take the win, and we're going to find out in just a second because they're all coming into their grid boxes. They're all ready to get cracking, and as soon as the lights come on, they're going to be prepping. They're going to be focused. They're going to be eyes locked on the lights because as soon as they disappear, we're getting underway with the Hungarian Grand Prix, and immediately you can see a lot of cars squirreling, really trying their best to hold it together. You got McLaren coming deep down the inside. There's Mercedes of Zones getting nice and tight down the inside. Anybody else going to try and slingshot it? It's Hittinen going into the side of Zones. That was a deep dive. No damage, but there is a rotation there. Hittinen's coming through, and so is Bulksan. Zones loses 2 places through turn 1. And look at a big send here from Brownie. Brownie's looking for an opportunity. Can't quite get it together. He's going to be staying himself there as long as he can. Yolta's coming in too. Got the inside line as well. Yolta's going to be
big crash. FK. Big crash. I think everyone survived. I think it's just a lot of mayhem, and everyone got away with it actually. So I got overly excited for nothing.
Well, I mean, not necessarily nothing. It was put FK Gaming right the way down the order, and you got so many things have happened in just that first few corners. You see Zones drop right down to P4. He actually almost lost out to Yolta as well. Brownie lost out to Yolta. He's obviously up there now in P5. Hittinen gains a couple of places, gets himself up in against a place, so he gets himself up to P3. And Bulksan just sitting pretty, sitting tight, holding on.
Just keep an eye on the wings. Yes, their boom sock does have front left damage. Not what you want on the wet track. You need as much grip as you can get, and he's going to come under a huge amount of threat. As Eulers sending one down the inside into 12. Is he going to get away with that? No, he's not, but he's all over the back of Boom, and I think Boom might lose this on the home fin straight. Too early to come in, though. With those taken so hard, he might as well stay out for as long as he can. Eulers seems to be having some connection issues. He's jerking around all over the place. As, yes, movement up ahead, though.
There is indeed. Kryzik and Rupa are having a little bit of a scrap. Oh, there's a battle going on as well for Skatey and Kimmy's. The Skatey was trying to go down the inside. Kimmy's saw that, decides to defend it, loses the rear, but they both do, and that's what's caused Skatey from taking that position, just to span the rears a little bit too much. Now Kimmy's has got the inside, and the only way that Skatey manages this if he can stick around the outside of Kimmy's, and that has been denied. So that's not going to change anything. Smeej closing in slowly but surely onto the back of Get On, but now we're in the area of the track, especially in the wet conditions. It's just so difficult to overtake. You pretty much got to wait for the home straight.
Yeah, just looking at the big losers and gainers so far this race. Copy involved in that turn 2 incident, down 7 places, and FK Gaming off the track again. He's rotated it on turn number 4, and has he avoided the wall? He appears to have, so
yeah,
that part's going well for him, and he's only lost 1 place as well. Skatey's up 4 as well as Rupert. He's also having a good start, he's up 3.
Yeah, Yolta's doing a really good job right now to maintain it. And the thing is, if he's able to carry this level of pace right through into the dry session as well, then ultimately he's looking dead set for some solid points. But currently he's looking like Ed Nicter and he's just loving life at the minute, although Bulksan is reeling him in. Now we are about to start lap 3, and usually in dry conditions we would have DRS being enabled.
Oh, sorry. Smidge nearly lost it coming into the side of WoW, and they are going side by side down the home straight. Smidge has got a better drive off the corner. WoW has to slot back in. Will he look for a move down the inside? He's got it from here, hasn't he?
Well, he's going for it. Oh, contact!
Oh, there's a look, and there's a denied stamp there from Smidge.
Yeah, I mean, WoW locked up and went into the side of Smidge. There was nothing really wrong that Smidge did there. It was, I mean, it's not really cost damage on either car. It gave WoW a bit of a scare and probably warmed his rear tyres up a little bit, but other than that, it's nothing else to say about it. Smidge now outside of a second on Get Earned, and that's going to allow, when the dry conditions come in, the DRS to play a factor. In terms of the slipstream, though, it's actually working out better for Smidge because he's got clean air, although his back end is getting very lively.
Yeah, I'm just looking towards the teams at the moment, just to see who's going to really struggle when it comes to changing. If we were to suddenly change the dries now, McLaren will not be in a very good position. They've got two drivers so close together. Everyone else is quite spread out team-wise. Ferraris are relatively close, and so are Renaults. But yeah, McLaren, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. There's nothing they can do. They both want to race hard. You can't say you need to drop back 5 seconds to save your pit stop. You'll lose 5 places as a result. Yep. So yes, it's not going to be pretty if those guys come in. But who knows when the rain stops? We don't really know that yet.
Oh, it's definitely not anytime soon. Look at the skies, look at the rainfall, look at the track. You can see it is not ready for the dry tyres as of yet, although Rupert is sizing up Dax, looking for an opportunity. Get Earned gets the fastest lap of the session so far, and Yolta's closing in on zones. Still nothing changing as of yet.
Yeah. At the moment, you've got an air temperature of 25, track of 30. That gives you a good indication of how quick it's going to dry up. As soon as that track temperature starts coming up, it means it's drying up a little quicker. As Dax is on the rear Rupert, and an opportunity is there's a change up ahead though. Zones and hitting and swap places.
Yeah, what's happened there? Oh, the Hittonen's all over the place. He's actually got his teammate right there on the back of him, look. They might go for a team order zero, move out of the way, because Hittonen is really holding the pack back now, and all this is doing is making their situation worse. Let your teammate go. Let him bridge that gap on you. Oh, like here now. Go for it. Just no.
It feels like he is, but he isn't. He's leaving space. He's not quick off the corners. Is it just a case of you can't have lost your tyres already? He must have had a slide somewhere and has just put a bit more heat into him than he would have liked. It's all about just check times.
He sent it down the inside on Hittonen, but it didn't work out. Hittonen is holding his teammate back drastically. 2 seconds now is almost the gap between him and Zones. And just look how much Yolta is all over the back of him. Like we said, this is exactly what it's like when you get here in Hungary. You do not really have an opportunity to overtake except for this one right here, right now. And ultimately, Hittonen's not going to try and let him come through. You know, they are battling for physical driver's position. Yolta's taken the outside line in towards turn 1. It's going to be a really tough one, especially if Hittonen makes a mistake. But look at the drive that Yolta's got. He's spanned the rears. Oh, he's lost the back end, and that's what's caused him to have this problem. That is not what we want. But Brownie, he's really about to look in here.
Yeah, Hittonen lost a whole second in the first sector. That's where he started losing positions. Then he lost another second to Zones in the second sector. Third sector, only 3/10, but still, he's not. As you say that, and now he's equalised the time between himself and Zones, and only 0.003 of a second between their two first sector times. So that's indication that Hittonen's starting to. It must have had a little slide and just put an extra bit of heat into their tyres, and he's just now recovering. Temperature-wise, they're about the same as his teammates. So,
yeah. So we did lose Kryzix, disconnected from the game at least. WoW is actually round the back at this, so doesn't have an opportunity to gain a position. Obviously Kryzix is going to be ghosted, so WoW can just drive right through him. But Brownie still on the back of Yolta. Yolta still on the back of Hittonen, and actually that time has sort of come down a little bit there between Hittonen and Zones. Zones is really slowing down in these wet conditions. Someone who's not slowing down though is Ennington, 2.3, and he's just set a fastest lap to go with it. 1:30.556 is a brilliant lap in the wet conditions, and Wow has managed to get past Cryzix to double up his points.
That's a second faster than Boltdown was last lap.
Oh no!
Browning's gone as well. This isn't a sign of issues, is it? We've had a lot of issues with the steam recently, haven't we? So hopefully that's not a sign.
No, I don't think it is, but we need to look at Dax and Kimmy's, because Kimmy's we know is fast usually. In this particular situation, not quite so much. Dax is actually just finding him back, holding him down as much as possible. It's going to be a really tough one, but look at the pace that Kimmy's got. Dax has blocked him. That's going to make it really difficult for him to overtake. Coming through this corner, and again, a little nudge into the back of Dax. Dax gets sent off wide, and now look at him going around the outside into a very difficult area to attack. He's going to try his best anyway, and even if he comes into the chicane, there's going to be touching. There's going to be a lot of movement between the two. That's going to send Kimmy's over the curb, but Kimmy's manages to make the undoable doable and brings himself up to P12.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was the type of move that could have ended badly for all of them. Particularly trying to go too wide through that really tight 6-7 chicane. Also, it would have taken a little nudge for them, and it would have taken out 2 or 3 other drivers with them. So it came out fine in the end, but it's a big risk play. But sometimes you've got to take the risks, haven't you? Yep. You can't sit behind and just go, well, I'm just going to sit here for a bit and wait. You just got to go for it sometimes.
So Brownie is back in the session, but he does have a very, very aggressive attacking Haas, although you wouldn't believe it, because look at Brownie, he's just gone. Brownie just pressed the go button and just took off. He said, see you later, alligator, I'm out of here. And he's looking already, 2.9 seconds is the gap to him and Get-Un. Get-Un was already sizing up an attack on Brownie before he disconnected, but obviously the pass was done. Brownie did lose connection or had a game issue regardless, and that's what brought him down the order. Boomstock on the side of Skatey. A little bit of a nudge there between the two of them. It looked like Boomstock lost the back of his car and kind of went into the side of Skatey. He's got him again. Oh no! Boomstock just went straight into Skatey. Skatey's been sent off into the distance, and that is a very broken Haas car there. You'll escape a penalty there for multiple warnings and disaster.
Yeah, it's not going well then for Skatey, is it? He's just... Yeah. He's up a place. That's the only thing going for him, I'd say. He's going to be back to where he started in a moment. I think he might bring this one into the pits with that front wing damage. FK behind him, cutting corners. No damage on FK. He's just playing the recovery race at the moment, but Skatey is not going to be happy.
He's actually going to go for a pass here. Look at this. He's already right at the back of him. Oh, I thought he was going to run into the back of his. There's a little touch there. Skatey's already been sent off into the wall from one rear end. Let's not have another one. But, I mean, here comes FK down the inside into what's Skatey. Skatey runs wide. Says, I've seen this game before. I didn't like it last time. So off you go and enjoy P17, at least for now, because Skatey knows the pit lane is where I have to go. I can't afford to do anything other than that. And it's sad times for Skatey. Skatey did not deserve to be in the situation. Bear in mind, Skatey was ahead of Boom, so P14 sorry, was where he was, and now in dead last.
Yeah, apologies. I'm just trying to sort out Cryzix. Needs to get an invite back into the lobby. Unfortunately, I don't think we are able to, so he needs to get a driver to re-invite him back in. But Skatey in the pits, fresh inters and a fresh wing as well. And he will be just trying to recover and hope somehow he's going to get some points here today.
Indeed. So Cryzix, has sadly disconnected. He's trying to get back into the lobby. Like you said, unfortunately we haven't got the ability to get him back in here. But Yolta on the back of Hittinen still. Hittinen's time has actually started to extend here. And I think Yolta, whilst he was trying, he just couldn't quite get the pass done in time, and now he's in a position where he's in a bit of trouble. But the rating's still here, the intermediate tyres are still relevant, and that's how it's going to stay for now. Yeah,
well, I'm just keeping an eye. I've got a few people's telemetry data for their tyre life, and they can go a little bit longer. They're not going to get... They can do one stop on these, so... Yes, it's just... When is this regular stop? It is supposed to transition to dry, but... I think if it transitions in around regional lap 20, 15 to 20, then that's going to be really quite interesting because these inters are going to start dying off by that point.
Yep.
Do they hold it out and risk punctures on the inters, or do they just brave it and bring it in? You may end up finding someone brings it in on the inters for 2 laps and then comes back out. It's going to be interesting to watch how people's tactics work out.
So, something to note is if the rain was to end in the next couple of laps, then the drivers will almost guaranteed go for the hards, because like we said earlier and we've said a number of times, it's just too hard to overtake here, and ultimately you're going to have to take the hards to just try and hold everyone back, try and build up the pace and maintain process, because if you go into the mediums you can do pretty well, but if you go into the softs, your tyres are just going to disintegrate. I think we're going to see a bit of all of those. I think we're going to see hards, and we're going to see mediums, and I think those outside the top 10 I'm probably going to pick up a soft at some point just to see what they can pull off. I'm looking at the likes of sort of Skatey to try and just do anything, you know, maybe take a fastest lap point away from someone, or just try anything different to try and bring himself back into this race.
Yep, he's got yellow as Dax has retired from the session. He's lost that. It's a strange place to lose it as well. It's in the middle of a straight. He must have lost it off the corner. Yeah, it looks like he's lost that. Put the power down too hard and spun it into the wall on the right. Based on that. Unfortunate then for Dax, but one more position for Skatey. One step closer to points as far as he's concerned. Yeah.
I mean, that must have been a hell of a smash into the wall, though, in order for that to happen. It hit the wall and then bounced back into the other side of the track. It has. All right. Hard then. So I think, like I was saying, if it ends in the next couple laps, which is right now, then we're going to be seeing people start to go over. Now, if you're new to Formula 1, if you're new to F1 2019, the one thing we know is that when the DRS gets enabled in this game, we know that that's the perfect time for you to change off the wet tyres and onto the dries. So keep that focus, keep everyone's eyes locked on anybody who tries to go into the pits. You want to be in the pit lane at that moment. When the DRS gets enabled, you want to be in the pit lane. You will have then gained the most time possible.
Yeah, or you want to be about to come in as you see it. But this is a short track. It's not like we're at Spa where it's a 2-minute track. This is 1 minute what they're doing. 1 minute 30s now. So it's not a long track. So if they miss it, they're not going to be lost in the Ardennes forest trying to get themselves back to the pit lane. They're going to be back relatively soon. But it is quite a snaky track, which when you're on the wrong tyres, isn't going to end too well for you, as Dax has shown us already today. He was on the right tyres, but yeah. So we're now up to track temperature of 31. So it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's going to be a matter of time. That's very early.
I think he knows something. I think we've seen Zones do this before. This isn't the first time we've seen him go for a really interesting pit stop. Yep, I think mediums is not a bad call, but it will require a lot of tire management. Zones can do that, and he's got the pace to go with it. It's just, making sure that you don't blow your tires to smiths when you get towards the end of the race, because if you do...
Oh! He's struggling with grip already, and he's only just come out. And he got a bit of a tank slapper going on the exit of the pit lane there. I'm looking at him going, this is too early, Zones. You've made a mistake here.
Yep. Well, he's not the only one though, look, because Kimmy's, Copy, Boom, and FK have all decided that this is the moment of choice to go for the softs, the dry tyres, should I say. Mediums and hards are what's been chosen so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of maybe Euless or Skatey just choose softs just to, maybe towards the end. They might go mediums and then softs at the end, just to chuck some times in.
Where's Ellington? Because Ellington and Copy work really well as teammates. If Ellington thinks it's time to come in, Copy will have come in. And Ellington's not coming in. So that, to me, is really, really odd. Because they are great teammates. They would be in communication.
Hold on. Are the McLaren's coming in? No. So these are the two you were talking about earlier, how the teams could be in a scenario where they may have to double stack. If either of these two double stack or make the wrong decision, now the race is properly on. Yolta is not waiting to get behind Hittinen. He's going for the full move. Look, you can see Mode 4 on the way on the ERS. He's going to need to get the exit here. This is the where he needs to go for down the inside if he can get it. He can't. He's actually touched the back of Hittinen there. Didn't quite get the acceleration out of the corner that he needed to. And now Yolta is in trouble. He's going to have to try and do a pass in a very unorthodox location. And I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, and Hittenen's tyres are actually better than Yeltek's at this point in time. In terms of tyre wear, so Yeltek's going to be just struggling a little bit more. The left-hand side is what's taking the punishment. Yellow in sector 3.
Copy.
That's Copy. So is that just saying it's not time for these dries?
I think that's exactly what I was saying, yeah.
I think Yeltek's going to be in a position now that do whatever your teammate doesn't do type situation. It's still not quite there, but Yeltek's got two things to do here. He either needs to pass Histonen on next lap and then pit at the right time. Histonen makes a little mistake. That's going to give Yeltek a chance. But Yeltek is in the worst position here. He has to come in a lap earlier or risk a big... It's going to be 5 to 6 seconds delay in his pit stop. And can you imagine if Histonen also had a nose change to go with it? I don't think he's going to, but...
Watch this. Yolta now, right on the back of Hittinen. We've seen this already before. Gets a really solid exit there, but look how much better Hittinen's was. Yolta has to pass Hittinen in the next lap or two. We're all nervous, waiting for the DRS light to come on to say that we can go ahead with the DRS. I thought that was it, but it's not. It's FK getting a penalty. Kimi's actually passed. Skatey's past Kimi's. That's just showing how much the Inter is. No, that's a mistake. That's allowing Get-Earn to get involved in this fight as well. And if Yolta gets caught out by Get-Earn, then there's going to be no chance of passing Hittinen. There's going to be no opportunity to get the pit stop you want. And now we're looking at Get-Earn going in towards, but he's backed out. That was a very smart move there from Get-Earn, really throwing Yolta off track. Oh, almost actually threw him off track there, but that was a little touch into the butt. And Yolta is okay. No damage on Get-Earn. And the other thing that's really happened is the gap to Hittinen's extended.
Zones with the penalty, yellow flag in sector 1. That is Zones. He's off. And it is definitely not time for these dry tyres, is it?
Nope.
We've just seen mistake after mistake after mistake. And Zones showing us more mistakes then for these dry tyres. I'm honestly surprised to see Copy came in. Surely him and Ellington are in communication. And Ellington said, no, it's not time yet. Maybe Zones just went, Copy just went against his teammate's suggestion. So interesting.
Is Yolta going to take a gamble? No, he's not. Honestly, everyone's bang on the nose. Intermediate tires are the right tire right now, but it's just trying to work out when is it going to change. I mean, Get-Earn is all over the back of Yolta. Yolta went from being on the offensive to being on the defensive, and here's Yolta's opportunity to defend. Needs to make sure he keeps that apex locked down, and Brownie's getting in this. Look at Brownie, go for it. He's going to stick alongside him. He's got his nose ahead of him. He might actually get the inside again, because Get-Earn's going to run deep into this corner. I can just feel it in my waters. Never mind, Yolta's there. They are going almost 3 wide. They're going 2 wide for definite. Here comes Brownie around the outside, and he's got the move done. He's ahead of Get-Earn. Get-Earn is just offside there. Has to bring himself back in. But Brownie, where did he come from?
He's strapped a rocket onto that car, I think. He's just... I don't know if you saw that first corner. There was a gap, and Brownie went, oh, I'll just add a little bit more accelerator. I've got a position. Great. It was just so beautiful to see. Brownie just saw a gap and went, I'm going for this. I don't care. I've got to go for this.
Yeah.
It's now getting towards the point that he's getting held up a little bit by the looks of it. He's just unleashed himself. But look at the ERS management from Brownie. It's 100% ERS. Yeah, okay, Yeltek's got 70-odd%, but Brownie's able to just store it all up in that middle sector. Same with Get Owned. Going to put a huge amount of pressure here on Yeltek. And will Yeltek be able to hold him off? Get Owned, try and sneak back down the inside of Brownie, just like happened last time. And Yeltek is in. Hittinen isn't in. So, Yeltek's going for the undercut type pit stop. This is good because we're now at the end of the life of these Inters. Yeah. These Inters are about to fall off the cliff, about 15.
I think Yolta's timed it perfectly. I'm looking...
It's one hard though.
Yeah, that's possibly a mistake. Has he timed it perfectly actually? I'm just... I mean, Yolta was really struggling. Brownie's just made a mistake there, but not that big a deal. I am still seeing spray getting kicked up on the car, so... Is it time? Is this a mistake? I guess Yolta's about to find out.
Yeah, Ulysses is on his rear. And can't do anything about it. It's all to do with the driver. Yeah, there goes Yeltek. Ulysses is taking that. That is just... Well, he's got cold tyres on as well, don't forget. They are hard tyres which have next to no grip, but all the life. And do not heat up very nicely. And that's just the... I mean, you could do that even in the dry, to be fair, couldn't you? Just no heat in those tyres, and lose the back end?
You could, but not as easy as that. I mean, that was... You could see there wasn't a lockup. He just couldn't maintain the car. The car was just like, whoop, 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 I got no grip, I got no grip. And it's like, you know, in the cartoons we see in the pit. Oh, yeah. Race leader is in. So he saw his teammate made a mistake, decided to pit 4 laps ago and go into the hards, and that's brought him down the order a fair bit. And DRS is enabled, and Nick Turn has nailed it.
That's a race winner decision.
Yep.
He might have just picked up a guaranteed win off that. That the most perfect time. It's all going to come now down to it's not quite there. Hitton can put in a championship drive. I don't think he'll be able to, but Elgato needs to avoid mistakes here because he has Hitton ahead of him. He's only 6 seconds up the field. If Elgato has a wobble or 2 and Hitton can drive a great in-lap, it's going to take a massive swing, but it is possible.
Oh, here we go. There's Yolta coming around the outside of him. This is going to be really tense through. He's locked up, gone really deep into the corner. So is Brownie. And that is just an ice skating rink for them. But Yolta gets himself back into pretty much where he was before, effectively. But he might even gain more than that because Hitton is ahead. And Get On has made a mistake there. He's lost the rear just a touch, but he's kept himself back in this. Euless is the car that's separating the two of them. Whilst he is having network issues, you can see him rubber banding. Yolta might actually be gaining out of this, considering when he pit.
Euless is still to pit as well, don't forget. And I'm looking at the times up front. Elgato is closing up to Hitton, so my hopes of Hitton coming out ahead of Elgato through a mistake, or at least close to Elgato through mistakes, isn't going to happen. But where is he going to come out? Bogdan is 17 seconds off Hitton, so I think he's going to come out probably just around Get Owned, probably right behind him. My prediction.
See, Yolta has to pass Euless so soon. He can't wait. He has to just go for it. Remember, we do have DRS, so whilst Get Owned won't have anything to use, Euless is going to be in trouble. Here he comes. Oh, that was so close there. I thought he was going to come right across. There's a little bit of a nudge there between the two cars. This is allowing Brandon to just sort of reel himself in a little bit more. Hittonen's in the pits. Euless is in the pits. Smege is in the pits. Brownie's ran deep coming through the final corner. This is allowing Yolta to run away. Yolta does have DRS. Is he going to get ahead of his teammate? Where is Hittonen? Hittonen's out. Hittonen's actually managed to get out ahead, but his tyres will be cold. So, with the warmed up hards and the mediums of Get Owned as well, is Hittonen in trouble?
I'll tell you one person who is in trouble, and that's Rupert. He appears to have made a mistake in the selection of the tyres and put on inters. Now he's come back in and put on a new set of mediums, but he's going to lose any chance he had of getting... Well, not any chance. He's going to lose a bit of chance of getting some points. He's got to turn the wick up and try and catch up to Euless up there in 10th. But it's not gone well for him.
Skitty gained another place on FK. FK made a mistake through the second to last corner. It did allow Skitty to just slip on down the inside, and that was a position change. Now Zones on the back of his teammate Rupert. Zones has severely lost out here today. Rupert's ran deep. That's caused him to lose a lot there. And Zones is through up into P11.
Shall we do... There's not a lot to run down on the penalty front, but we might as well, as Rupert picks up one.
Go for it.
Yeah, all the top 9 are penalty-free, as it stands, which is good to see. Then Euless is on 6, Zones is also on 6, Rupert's on 3, Boom's on 3, and FK Gaming is on 3. So we're not too high on the penalty front, but it can all change. We're on 18 of 35, so it can all change in that time.
Now, the thing to focus on, besides the fact that fastest laps are being chucked in left, right, and centre, and Rupert keeps throwing himself off the track, there is... oh, yellow flag, that's Kimmy's. It's gotta be, yeah, it is. He's rotated the car, but he's crucially kept his wing intact, and that's going to make a massive difference for him. Anyone else's yellow flag? No, just Kimmy's. Yeah, what I was just saying... Oh, Smeege's actually lost out. Wow. They're actually going side by side. Look at it. Smeege's on the inside. He's going to manage to just maintain it. Usually you see if you got the inside for the first, then you're going to lose out on the right. But no, he's done it.
Yeah, FK dropping to the back. He's just made a mistake on the approach to turn 12. And what's Kimmy's doing?
He's in the pits, but I keep watching these Mercedes. They keep swapping places. Zones and Rupert have been scrapping for a little while. Yeah, Rupert's got penalties, and Zones is looking pretty clean indeed. Kimmy's retired. He's out of the session. He says, that's it. I've had enough.
Yeah, Rupert is right on the rear of Zones as Yelta. First of the top 9 get a penalty in that. Well, that's going to cost him 1 place at the moment to Brownie, but yellow in sector 1 and 3. Oh, that's all for Kimmy's, isn't it?
Oh, Zones is just losing this car left, right, and centre. He is getting very wobbly on this car. I thought now that the track is in dry conditions, we might see Zones just come to life. I mean, he tried to do the early pit stop 7 laps to go, and it is really not working out for him. Everything that could have gone wrong for him has happened.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on my telemetry. Hitton is getting pressured by Get Owned at the moment. So they're both on the same tyres, 1 lap between them. Starting to look like, yep. I mean, Yelta and Brownie could be in a really good position if those hard tyres, well, they will last the rest of the race, but will the mediums last the rest of the race? I think the answer to that is a comfortable yes. Because I can't, actually, I'm struggling to believe my own eyes, my telemetry data, but it says they'll be doing another 32 laps on these mediums.
No, there's no way.
That's right.
No, I don't believe it. There's no way they're doing 32 laps on these mediums. I mean, I think they could probably take him to the end of the race. Zones is retired.
Oh.
Where is that? Oh, he's lost it. Oh, that is a big off there. He's actually lost it turn 2 somehow, and he's just flown off into the wall.
Now, this could change a few things. Safety car. Is...
Yelta's in. Yelta's got to come in.
He's got it almost at the pit lane. He'll come in and put some mediums on then, won't he?
Or will he? It's not that hard to defend on this track.
But it's hard to overtake.
It is, which is why I'm thinking he's staying out.
Brownie's not, though. Brownie is in. He'll lose a couple of places, come out ahead of Chrysix. And Wow's also in, so Smidge will be passing them both. Chrysix come around the final corner now, so that's to see what happens.
So, there's something to bear in mind. We're now going to see the difference between the two decisions, okay? You're going to see Yelta, who's obviously out there right now on the hards, and at the same time as Brownie did, pretty much. Brownie was right behind him and says, okay, I'm going to pit then instead, and I'm going to go into the mediums. The pack is going to get bunched back up again. We know that, obviously, because the safety car is out. Oh, Eulis, he's trying. That was an interesting line to take. You can't overtake underneath, and that's a penalty for Brownie.
It's an interesting penalty. That didn't seem like a severe accident to me, but been given.
I'm pretty sure that will get overruled. There's no way that could stay.
Don't know. Well, Brownie got thrown into the corner. He didn't exactly send one down the inside and hope for all the best, did he? He got thrown into the inside of Eulis.
Yeah.
Based on the fact he was coming out of the pit lane. He might have had a little bit more speed, but that's unfortunate. Hopefully that will get overturned for Brownie's sake, but I think Brownie needs to be fair, you've got 15 laps to go. You can't really drive and try to get a 5-second lead, can you? Not on a track like this.
Well, I mean, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at the gap he's got to Chrysix, it's a 12.1 seconds. Obviously, that's going to close up as we, with the safety car basically bunching everyone back up to the front again. This is actually going to allow Yelta to do work here, but, I mean, we're in the hard tyre conditions. I don't know what he can do to sort of hold the very quick Smidge behind him. Obviously, Chrysix is not actually here. That is, sadly, an AI. But then you got Brownie, who's just a little bit further behind. Brownie does have the pace, and we've seen him on the straights. He is an absolute rocket on the straights. Just, I don't know, we see him just seem to be struggling for everywhere else.
I think the zone's found a wet patch by the sounds of it. He says no rain and track's still wet. So I think he might have found a puddle based on that.
Yeah, I think turn 3 killed him.
Yeah, it wasn't like totally, he just went straight on. I don't know if there was any nudging or anything, but based on his comments, it sounds like it wasn't any nudging. It was just a lack of grip at that point, and he made a little mistake. It's unfortunate, but yeah. So
the question is,
he's on one side of the track and everyone else is on the other.
who left the banana peel on turn 2?
Mario. Oh, Smee just found one as well, I think.
He's alright. He's just warming the tyres up. He's just making sure he's prepped because, I think in a minute we're probably going to see safety car in this lap, I think. And, you know, he's going to need to make sure he's got a really good solid exit. This cannot be slow for him. He has to make a move on Yolta whilst Yolta's tyres are in a cooler state, because he's going to have better grip on the restart unless Yolta's managed to somehow, which is currently trying to look at him, throwing his car around, trying to generate as much temperature in those tyres as possible. Safety car is obviously not in, so we are going to go for another one, but Yolta's got to figure it out.
There's one big issue, I think, for most of these drivers at the moment, particularly Histon, Gaud and Yelta. There is a man in front of them called Copy. Copy is to be lapped, but safety car in this lap already.
Wait,
that's
what?
strange. That's only just started. They normally announce that at the last sector, but okay. What's done is done. The lights have gone off on it very early on, so...
They have, and I mean, if you look on board with... I have no idea what's happening.
Oh no, Copy's not through.
So bear in mind, obviously, Copy's been lapped, so he is ghosted for everybody. No one will be in his... he won't be affecting anybody's race.
I forgot they made that change.
I have no idea what's going on. Ed Nickton has to do the entire lap by managing... Look, the safety car is gone. He's out. He says, see you later, I'm off to go play football with my friends. Meanwhile, you got Ed Nickton is just backing the pack up a little bit. I have never, ever seen this before.
And also, the next odd thing, according to my telemetry, Scasey's just set the fastest lap of the race behind the safety car.
Yep, I see that as well. 123.9. Wow's been penalised. I think Rupert and Boom will probably get that in a second as well.
Yeah, because Kleisik's dropping back.
There it is.
Go. That's, well...
I mean, these are all going to just get overturned. There's no way that they're going to stay.
Scasey drives straight through Kreisig as well.
Yeah. Another penalty that'll be on board in a minute. What's happening?
Well, look how slow Kreisig is. He's an AI, but look how slow he's driving. I think they're all going to get overturned because this is... Kreisig is doing very slow pace. Where's Anyturn? Right. This should be starting. This should be the start.
Should be. Alright, safety car's in. Safety car's in. So.
Anyturn is gonna go.
Or is he?
Safety car's not still there.
It says safety car, yellow flag top left still. We have crossed the line. It's gone now, so we are back underway. Green flags have been thrown around. No one is in a position to really attack. Everyone's so confused by what's happened there. Brown is the closest person to actually do anything about it, and even with a restart, nothing changes.
Well, the only thing I can say is good luck to the stewards after this.
Yeah.
Smidge is on the back of Yelta. And nothing coming of that. So, got a few laps and then the DRS will be re-enabled. And they've now just got to try and build up leads, escape the other drivers. And no surprise, we're starting to see purple sectors fly in left, right and centre. And we'll see a new fastest lap after this lap. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. 123.906 is definitely something, a time that these guys can beat. It's just more of a, you know, just getting some free space, not being with a slow car ahead of you, and then absolutely going for it. I am looking towards Brownie now to see what he can deliver. Obviously, he picked the opportunity under the safety car to pit and go into the mediums. Obviously, with the restart now, he's not quite got the start he wanted to, but look at Yolta. He's on the hards. He's stayed out. He's losing time. It's 1.2 seconds. We don't have DRS yet because of the safety car's only just gone in. So this is the first lap. We got to wait till the end of the next one, and then it will be reactivated.
Yep, so there come the fastest laps as they're going to change one more time, I think. Maybe twice. No, they're not. Oh, disappointed.
I mean, look at it, Wow, and he's actually looking for an opportunity on Eulis. Eulis actually made a big mistake going through turn 1, but Wow just can't capitalise, and it's going to stay like this for now. Looking at Brownie, who's right there on the back of the Haas. Smidge is on the back of Yolta. Yolta's making mistakes. Smidge is in trouble. Here comes Brownie looking for the rocket in towards turn 4. He's going to take the outside. Is it going to stay clean? Is it going to get rough? It's going to be Brownie getting sent out wide, but he's still got the inside. Watch out for the car. There's a little bit of mistake there from Smidge. Run to back end. Brownie. Oh, I thought that was the end of his race. He caught that so well. And my voice is getting destroyed.
Well, Brownie had to back off there. Yes, okay, he kind of went off track as well. whilst battling against Smeej? Was that because Smeej left no room, or?
Wow, oh, wow, almost went down the inside of Ulyss. That was so close to being a major collision between the two, but no, wow, saw it, almost pounced, backed out, and sorry to cut you off there, but that was almost Brown moment. Code Brown.
Well, up front, N10 still has the lead, 0.7 clear of Bogdan, Hitton there as well as Get Owned. Who's really had a great race.
Boom's just ran into the back of Rupert, and Rupert's been rotated on the final corner. That's knocked him down now behind Boom, behind Cryzix, and you've got Skatey who's actually closing in on this as well. Doesn't have DRS, but has got the opportunity to use Slipstream, and that's it. Nothing more coming of it, unless he does that. Goes for a huge sender down the inside turn one. That's a big collision between the two. Skatey just got very ambitious with that overtake, and I think the stewards are going to have a word with that, as Rupert's gone really off the track into the grass, and it's just gone from bad to absolutely horrific for Rupert, and Brownie's still attacking Smeej.
Rupert's had enough. He's about to retire.
And he's dead.
Yeah, he's had enough. I saw him going towards the corner. No break.
What do you reckon, safety car?
Well, based on where he's parked, that should be a safety car. I don't think you can actually see it, but it's on the exit curb of turn 3. Just off the track, technically, but it's still in a position that should cause a safety car. If this was actually F1, that would be a straight up safety car.
Yep.
But this isn't F1.
Nope, it is not. Get On, though, is on the back of Hittonen. I'm keeping a firm eye on him, actually, because he's got DRS now. He's got a pretty close gap. Has got ERS in Mode 5. He's going to be looking pretty hot. Closing in on Hittonen now, in towards turn 1. Not going to have the gap unless he does a skatey and just absolutely sends it, and he decides that's not the right opportunity. But Brownie and Smeej going side by side into turn 1. Smeej looking for the cutback. He's got the gap window there, but Brownie gets a better drive. He's managed to hold on to P6. Wow, and Ulyss swap places. And yeah, Brownie's doing well to hold Smeej back.
Well, he did have DRS off that corner. It is technically one detection zone. So Brownie would have the DRS on the exit of the corner if he had it on the home straight, as he showed there how to use it, as Ulyss picks up a penalty. Yeah, so Brownie does have a 5-second penalty after the collision with Ulyss. We're expecting that one to be overturned, along with a bunch of other 5 seconds after drives were overtaking Cryzix, who was... I think the game had a little issue with the safety car saying it was in this lap at the moment of the... start of the lap.
Yeah.
Cryzix is an AO, he's driving the speed, he should be behind a safety car. Everyone else was driving at whatever speed they could because there was no technical safety car there. It had already disappeared out of sight, they were driving and then overtook Cryzix, and I think there's about 4 or 5 people who have 5-second penalties just because of that. Hopefully for their sake it'll be overturned because it was daft. Brownie's one, that'll come down to footage as to see if there's anything he could do about it. But he got thrown into the inside of turn 1 where Ulyss was. So we'll look at that one to the stewards after the race. But Brownie up to P6 and is hunting down Yeltek already.
He really is. I mean, I'm looking at the gaps for the top 4. There's 2 battles going on. It's P1-2 and battle for P3 and 4. And Get Earned, whilst he did get quite close to the back of Hittonen, just couldn't see the opportunity to go for it. And Bogsan in a similar situation when it comes to it Nick turn. Crucially, though, we are going to be seeing Get Earned and everybody above start to have issues on these tyres. I know you said they can go quite far, but I mean, we've got 8 laps remaining of the session. Yalta's the only one out there on hards. We have seen a tyre been put onto Skatey's car, or 4 of them in fact, that are all softs. So we'll keep an eye on Skatey, see if we can chuck in the fastest lap of the session. But I'm also watching Get Owned with very firm eyes, because look at that gap.
Okay, well, eyes on Brownie actually just did purple sector 2, sorry. He already has the fastest lap. But I think we're going to see a lot of things coming towards the end on the final couple of laps here. Eggnington Bogdan for the lead. Yeah, Owner hits it. Oh, Brownie tank slapper there. That's going to lost them a chance at Yeltek this time with Smeej. He's not going to be closing up too much, but he's there as well.
Oh, here's Get Owned. Watch this, watch this. Is he going to go for it in towards turn 2? No, it's just got a better drive. Sorry about that.
I was so excited. I thought, oh, we can see an overtake. No, never mind.
I thought, Get Owned had that scripted. It just, the outcome was very different to what it says in his script. I mean, he faked out the inside, hit and then what?
This is what we were saying before the race, wasn't it? Any turn is going to get penalties. That's why I'll get one as well. We'll do a penalty rundown, actually, considering where we are in the race. We're coming towards the end. With Ettington getting his penalty, he's on 3 seconds. Yelta is on 3 seconds. Brownie's technically on 5 seconds. What will happen, we don't know. Smeege is on 0, so he's not looking good there. Wow is on 6. Ulysses is on 9. 6 for Boom. Crysis obviously on 0 because he's been in AI for the vast majority of the race. Skaty's on 3. And Copy maybe last, but he has got no penalties.
So, Get Owned has an opportunity to get P2 if he can get his motor on. Not rotate the rear like you're doing right now, although he's actually really just shot through there. Look at this. The drive out of that corner was so quick, and Hittinen hasn't got an answer. Here comes Get Owned saying and living up to the name as Hittinen's going to go deep into turn 1. He's rotated the car, he's lost the car position. He's kept himself in this, but this has brought Yolta into this now. Look at the gap. It's 6 tenths, 5 tenths. That's closing in. Yolta's got an opportunity to jump his teammate. We saw Hittinen really trying to just hold Get Owned dead to rights. But ultimately now, Get Owned, all he has to do is just improve by about a second and a bit. And he will put himself in prime position to get that P2 spot away from Ettington. Because remember, he has that penalty. No one else below him does up until you get to Yolta. And that's where things start to get spicy. And Ettington currently looks to be taking a P2 at best.
Well, we shall see. Long way to go. I know I say it's a long way to go. It's only 6 laps, but that is still quite a long way to go. Anything can happen if Yelta does things like that, and he can end up in the wall. Cheers. Good time in the end, mate.
Yeah, perfect.
Brownie as well. He's not too far back, and if this keeps going, Smeege will come into this. Smeege has 0 penalties, so he will jump Yelta as it stands. But if anyone else in front of him picks up something, he may jump them. But he's on some guessing old mediums. I do have data from some of the mediums drivers, and they are looking okay.
Hold your thoughts, hold your nose. Here comes Yolta into turn 1. He's going straight down the inside. This time Hittinen's not got the opportunity to try and keep him dead out there. And Yolta's got a better drive out of the corner, but he is on the outside for turn 2. But he's got such a good exit. He's passed his teammate. And now, the situation for Yolta is very simple. You've got 5 laps, 6 if you include the remainder of this one. You have to find a way to break a 3-second gap to at least one of the drivers behind you. Because you've got Brownie behind you, who's definitely within that 3 seconds, and Hittinen there as well. Smeege is within it, and Wow's in it. So you've got to try your best and just pull away, which, as it stands...
Ignore Wow.
Yeah, Wow's also good. Okay. But, I mean, those 3 behind him, they've got the opportunity to jump him, and Yolta wants that P4 position if he can do it. He just has to find a way to commit.
It's starting to slide. It's starting to look like he's on the inter tyres again. As they were going away, just back end kicking out all over the place. But Enten, look at that, he's already pulled a 1 second lead. He's going full ham to try and get this win now.
Yeah.
Also, will be in DRS? Yes, he will. So, but Get Owned is not catching up at all. He's actually falling back. Last lap pace, 18.8 for the race leaders. Get Owned did a 19.6. That's a big gap. Enten has the fastest lap as well, by the way, over Skatey on softs.
So currently looking at 19 points as it stands, as Bulksan's doing a very good job of holding on to him. Could easily get this win.
19? 26.
Why would he get 26 if he's got a 3-second time penalty?
Oh, true, yes, I forgot about.
Right. I'm going to mark that one down in my diary as the first time in ages I've actually corrected you for once.
We haven't finished yet.
Yeah, but it's still in the diary, okay? Brownie chasing Hittinen. The gap is actually very equal between him and Yolta. So I actually say that, and Yolta's just suddenly found a way to break out of 3-4 tenths on him, and that's exactly what you need if you're in that McLaren up ahead. Pull away, go away and run as fast as you can. Try and get away from Hittinen, and not necessarily going to be able to break a full 3-second gap, but you have to somehow... First of all, the key to break that 3-second gap is to break the first second. Once you've broken that first second, you're good. You're good to run. But yeah, no, he's not broke it. He's in trouble. Although Hittinen's made a mistake. So Yolta's actually got a much better drive, and Yolta's actually not far off the DRS of Get Earned. So this could work out for him.
But what's also working out for Yolta is the fact that Smeege is no longer in that DRS, the Brownie. So they're starting to move a little bit away. which means he's starting to break that. So he's only going to lose 2 instead of 3 places, and so that's going to work out well for him. But that gap is about 3/10 away from being good enough for Yelta, as Hitton kicks up some dirt into Brownie's eyes.
Bulksan is really stepping his game up. He's really turned the full energy mode on to full. I mean, if you look at it, Nickturn, he's sat in 52%, and you got Bulksan who's in 24%. Ultimately, that's quite big. That's quite important. Yolta has done what he needed to do. He's just about to break that 1 second DRS to Hittinen, but crucially, he's broken the DRS to Get-On now. So there's an opportunity for him to use Get-On's pace and to use Get-On's slipstream and tow, and DRS, sorry, to actually just nail it.
Yeah, well, there's the gaps are now just over a second, but everywhere. Oh no, it's Yelta just nicks it under a second. It's the fun thing about these times that constantly update like that. It's just changed the other way.
Yeah.
And what is it going to be when we get to that? I think Hitton's still going to have it. Yelta's not going to have anything. Yep. So again, Yelta's got it all to do on the next lap. He does have some slipstream though.
It's marginal, but he's definitely there. Definitely still going for it. Back into the 1 second margin, and Bulksan, whilst he was all over the back of their Nickturn, going through turn 3, 4, you'll find now that he's almost outside of DRS range on him. Something just turned off in Bulksan's car.
Well, Nickturn lost 6/10 in the first sector last lap, then Bulksan lost half a second in the second sector and a few tenths in the third sector, so that's why that's happened. Nickturn has just set a personal best first sector, 27.996. Bulksan actually went technically faster, but yeah, so Skate is out on softs again, going for that fastest lap. He's going to have it as well. He's gone fastest the first 2 sectors.
So bear in mind, Yolta's 3 second time penalty. As it stands, he's going to lose only 2 places. He'll lose to Hittinen and Brownie, but he is working quite nicely on bringing that down a little bit. It's not going to be enough, I think, to be able to break that. I think ultimately he's going to still be in P6. Obviously, it won't reflect that when we come across the line, because Brownie does have penalties, which we're pretty certain are going to get eliminated. But we're getting hot, we're getting spicy, and Yolta does not get DRS again.
Yeah, he gets there and then loses it on that final sector, and locking up there to go with it. As Boom and Ulyss must have had a rotation. Yep, he's going slow off the final corner. Ulyss has dropped down outside the points now, unfortunately, but he'll actually get his classics, won't be classified. But I'm looking at the front. Nickturn has turned the wick up 1.5 seconds ahead. Lap and 8 corners-ish, I can't count that quick, left for Nickturn. He needs to get a 3 second lead if he wants to hold the race win. And he's going to do everything he can. Burn off everything he's got left. What can Bulksan do?
I don't know if Nickturn has enough pace to just push and get himself... I mean, ultimately, his final lap is going to be the quickest lap he's ever done in his life, isn't it, really? He's going to try everything to pull as quick as possible. If Bulksan's tyres are struggling, then he's going to feel it, and Nickturn will just run away. But Yolta has actually done a great job. Look at this. In now, within DRS of Get-On. We're not looking to necessarily take the P3 away, because he's just got too many penalties for that, and by that I mean he's got 1. If Yolta can do enough to stay with Get-On, if Hitton's tyres just suddenly fall apart for him, which is not what's happened to Yolta, he's closing very quickly on Get-On, slight little lock up there, but that wouldn't have affected him that much at all. He's got the DRS again to just keep going, keep pulling away, keep attacking. Brownie's going to be looking for Hittinen, because these guys don't have penalties, so this is a battle for P5. He's going for the inside. Oh, I thought he was going to send it there. No, Hittinen sees it, shuts the door, says not today, and Brownie's going to get desperate. Brownie is going to look for a P5 if he can get one. Well, physical P5 and then P4 overall. Yeah.
I'm still keeping my eyes on Bulksan. I just want to see how he's getting on out in second. He's just over a second off losing that P1. I think Nickturn might be able to do this. It's somehow he's got to find a second in the last sector. All it takes is a wobble from Bulksan, and he's done it.
Yeah.
Nickturn's gone the fastest he's ever in the first and second sectors. He's going full ham for this.
The Ren. Is that Ren I see? No.
No.
I thought I saw a speck of the Ren, but no, we haven't. The yellow flag sector 3, that's Get-On, who's lost out. He's rotated the car. Smeech just comes flying on by. This is bringing Yolta into this, and Nick crosses the line. Bullocksan gets the win overall. Due to penalties, Yolta will cross the line next, but will drop down the order. Hittinen jumps in. Brownie's obviously going to jump him after that. Well, providing the stewards actually eradicate it, but Smeech climbs up. Get on, falls down. Brownie falls down, obviously, because of the penalty. Wow falls down. And Boom takes P10. Kryzix, who will physically cross the line and take P8 overall, but actually won't be classified, so everyone will move up a place down below.
What happened to get owned? I didn't see.
It was like the third to last corner and he rotated. We believe there was contact between him and Yolta.
Oh, hopefully.
We believe. We don't know for sure.
Hopefully he's caught some action and be able to appeal that, but it's not going to get him a podium. That's gone, unfortunately for him.
That ship did sail. So here's the rundown at the end of the Grand Prix. Bear in mind, this is a provisional rundown because the stewards will have a lot of instances they have to read through and then decide if they're going to remove some penalties. So we believe that Brownie will climb up a couple of places and potentially even slot in with a Hittinen area, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But here's the rundown. So Bullocksan takes the win overall. That is confirmed. He did nothing wrong and absolutely nailed it. Not even a single penalty to his name. So really well deserved 25 points. Enigton crossed the line and takes P2. Did lose out due to that penalty. Hittinen there in P3, at least for now. Yolta in P4. Smeech P5. Get-on P6 after that little incident. 3 laps, 3 corners towards the end. Brownie there in P7. Kryzix P8. Wow P9. And Boom rounds out the top 10. Eulis gets best of the rest, but ultimately with Kryzix not being able to be classified, Eulis will get the final point. And I believe you said Ednington got the fastest lap?
No, Skatey.
The Skatey snatch it? Yeah, Skatey took it. So then, the only question left yet to answer is, who is your driver of the day?
Oh, well, I mean, Bogdan did well to hang on to the back of Enigton. We know Enigton's ridiculously quick. But, yeah, I think it's going to go Bogdan, isn't it?
Yep.
There's some great driving all around from everyone just to make some overtakes and do what they did. I mean, Yolta to recover, starting from 8th to 4th, decent. Particularly battling with his teammate when it was raining and they both wanted to thinking of coming in. Yeah, great driving all round.
Well, that's it from the Apex Online Racing League. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. I've been Ben Rwaggy Amkasa, and joining me has been Jamie Amkasa Elder. Jamie, as always, thank you so much for joining me in the Caster's Desk. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, to have you with me. But we'll see you guys next week, where we are back in Singapore, I believe. Is that right?
Is that what you
Did I nail it? No, it's Belgium. Of course it is.
Miles out.
Yep, not even slightly near. Where's Singapore? 2 races left. Okay, well, see you next week. Take care. Good night.
Ciao.